This gets back to seeing the trends that are happening within the search engine, and you've probably seen this lately. I love this example here. So if I want to make a latte and I type that into Google, this is what's interesting. The answer to my question is at the top of the page. Now, without even going to the website, I can have my answer for the question. And now there's a couple implications to this. Yes, it's great. We can be at the top of the rankings. We can have our answer there. But if the answer completely answers the searcher's question, it doesn't generate a page view. They don't see much of our brand. They aren't engaging with us at all. They're engaging with Google. And so this gets to the point of how do you then bring this to the organization as far as a strategic view of this? How do we approach it? How does this change what we do with our website or with our content? You can also see here that people are asking different questions. And this gets to the copywriting of the website. Are you generating content that answers questions? Because this is where Google is pulling this information as well as pulling the related questions that come from that type of content. This also is critical because this then leads into voice search. And so if you've got a home assistant, you use any of the phone assistants, or hey, guess what? This is coming in cars, that you will have a voice assistant in cars, and your search result will be read back to you. And this is the beginning stages of that. That if you have a question or a search, you would speak your search, and then the first result would be read back to you. And as you can see, it's not coming from the site, it's coming from Google. So this is where, again, we sit down, we look at the strategy. What are we trying to do? What is our strategy as far as visibility in the search results? And what's going to happen, and what's happening now with this, is you could be answering people's questions and never knowing it. Simply based because Google is delivering the result, they're not going to your site. Now, the possibility of them going to your site exists, but as more voice searches are being generated, Google is going to deliver a result that doesn't require a click-through because it's all happening through audio. So hopefully this doesn't, all the changes in SEO, I would say over the past 15 years, have been largely external, driven by Google, as Google has taken away keywords, taken away keywords in analytics, done numerous things here that have caused SEOs to have to react. And again, this is one of those changes that causes us to sit and figure out how are we going to deal with this change.
We have some questions already, one of which is
Sure.
Google's not spending so much time focusing on keywords specifically. Even though they're still important, where do you suggest that marketers look for keywords?
Oh, I think the typical keyword research tools are still very viable. In fact, you'll probably get better information out of keyword tools than you will Google's keyword tool. Google has been combining keyword concepts under a single keyword. So, for example, a great one that we've seen in the keyword research, pool table and pool tables, plural and singular. Google puts that all under pool table, whereas anyone who does any amount of e-commerce can tell you there was a world of difference between people that search for plural and singular. Before the changes in keywords, I could tell you with numerous sites that we had that if people searched with the singular version, they were about 3 to 5 times more likely to purchase than if they searched for the plural version. The plural version meant that they were shopping. The singular version pointed to they were ready to make a decision. So Google won't show you the data, however, between the plural and singular for pool tables. Other keyword research tools, however, will show you that. So even though even though it's getting more difficult with the keywords, from a marketing standpoint, absolutely still do your keyword research, right as if you would, you're going to have to do additional research, maybe, customer research, face to face, asking them to describe how they would search or what they were looking for or what problem you solved, because you're going to need a wider variety of input for keywords.
Yeah, and if you have any way to look into your competitors, I know there are some tools that let you do that. You can see what your competitors are, or at least in their SEM, you can learn a lot.
Yes.
By what, because you can tell a lot by what's a valuable keyword by learning what your competitors are paying for, and also check your analytics to see how people are actually finding you. What's interesting is how is I know RankBrain is one of the most influential parts of Google now, and I know that's basically lumping, instead of creating separate pages for plurals and other iterations of words, RankBrain is just sort of including all of that and looking for those words in general content. How is RankBrain affecting search terms and SEO with just keywords?
It's really trying to learn more of what exactly do people want from an intentional standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to put together unfamiliar searches or unfamiliar phrasings, or I think I read the other day, I'm trying to think whose name it was, but it was, Matthew McConaughey. His name in 1 week had like 8,000 misspelled variations.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow, a search engine has to figure out over 8,000 misspellings. Who did you mean? Who are you trying to figure out? So it's trying to figure out the intent and deliver the right result. And I think part of this is, yes, they don't want SEOs to be focusing on individual words. And by taking away all that data, in a way they have accomplished that. So what RankBrain is attempting to do is trying to tie those things together of how do we figure out. Now, they're looking at the minutia of the differences of words, but they do not want to show it to us.
Right.
So it's not a whole lot you can do. It's just, it's from their standpoint. The best thing you can do is just continue to write great content that people want, that answers their questions using a variety of words that explain. A great example is, if you're writing an article, baseball season started here in the U.S. If you're writing an article about baseball, you're going to use words like umpire, like balls, strikes, bats, teams. Those are all words that build context. And so they're going to count just as much as the primary term baseball. And in fact, Google's going to look for all those other terms that build that context. Mm-hmm. And so it's not so much that single word anymore. It's that variety of, I would call those second-tier words that support the context of what you're writing about. Those are coming more into play.
And of course, putting that in a more natural language type of phraseology in your content, rather than the old days of keywords. How many keywords can we stuff in the first paragraph? What's the optimum number of words in the meta tag? Blah blah blah. I mean, because now it really. If it looks like Google's been penalizing people for doing stuff like that for years, but now, especially with RankBrain, the more you can do to write like a conversation that people are actually thinking and asking about, I'm sure is a better way.
They've always wanted that. I mean, that has always been Google's goal. From the beginning, they have told us to write for humans. But the problem has been, there are a lot of SEOs there that would rather take the formulaic approach. And, why should I write for humans? I'm just trying to get people to my site. They're going to buy. And so they, try to reverse engineer everything to come up with this formula of use this keyword this many times in this part of the page. And, whereas Google has always said, write for humans first. And so by taking away some of those other options or taking away the keywords, it's really guided the industry to do what they wanted to do. And honestly, I think it's a good thing
Hmm.
because the quality of content has to increase. It has to get better. And that is one way that they've enforced that. Exactly what they've imposed their will on people who desire to have better rankings.
Right. I just have one more question that a lot of people are asking if you have any specific recommendations for keyword research tools before we dive on to
Wow,
the next thing.
there are a lot of them. So if you've got like Raven or I'm trying to think what are some of the others. Raven SEO tools. There's one right on the edge of my tongue.
Word Tracker is still
Word Tracker, yeah. Oh, I've got a list of them somewhere here.
you could
But yeah, we could put that out.
Google.
Yeah, just Google out and look at some of the keyword research tools. There are a lot of them. Many of them offer free trials, and so yeah, just get in, do the free trial, take a look at what's there. Some come with full service site management. You may not want all that. You may want that. Others are more standalone, independent. They just do keyword research about buying, and they talk about color. That's more of what we're looking for. Is let's start slicing and dicing this down. What words are they associating? What colors? What features? And by understanding the breadth of how people search and the questions they have, it helps you write better content because now you understand I'm not just optimizing for one word. People have questions across an entire breadth of type, style, color, place, city, all these types of things. And so that's really what I challenge people to get out of keyword research is understanding the full breadth of what people want rather than just a single word or a single phrase.